Alright guys, I am down here in the man cave, so to speak, and this is my grow room, and I don't know if any of you were on the channel, or on Pickerick's chat the other morning. I think it was about a week ago now. These are some of my plants down here, and I am looking forward to Rick and Loisann joining me soon. I don't know what might be keeping them, but I have sent them links if they are listening. Let me start out with saying, there's Loisann, I believe. Let me see here. What do we do here? Forgive me, guys, I am not familiar with getting them on air here.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hello.
I can hear you.
Can you?
Can they hear you out there?
I don't know. I'm going to put it on my phone too so I can know what people are saying.
Okay, Gene says he can hear you. He's in the chat.
Okay, good.
Gene,
I hear you clear.
So far. So, I guess to start off with, Rick hasn't joined us yet, but you know, he said
for me, so
it didn't even show up on his timeline until I was finished doing it, so he may be kind of late. JD and Allie, welcome to the program. So how did your garden go this year?
Well, besides my worst problem I had was the critters. We had 4 raccoons, a possum, a groundhog that we caught with a live trap and had to take someplace else. So besides, bugs were terrible. So this year I got to get them ahead of time. A water system this year too.
You're putting in a new water.
JD, Allie. I've been looking at different water systems.
Okay.
They have drip, soak, or spray one.
Right. Have you found?
I want to for sure put it in my. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to ask if you found that one is better than any of the other ones.
Right now I'm just researching them to figure out which one I want to buy. Like I was looking at the different prices. The ones I've saw so far are anywhere from like $220 down to $49. So I got to go through and figure out what's going to work for me. But they have different ones. I'm thinking I want the dripper one, and then I'd want a timer. So it'll come on at a certain time and shut off, not on all the time. Figure it out. Because I know I want one in the hoop house and then one in my raised beds outside. So yeah. Anyway.
Well, that sounds like a plan. Did you have did you have a certain plan on how to tackle the critters?
We were just live trapping him. Oh, for the hoop house, I got a fence where I'm going to go all the way around the bottom of the hoop house. And then put their stuff that goes up and down on the sides. I'm going to put I have the fence, I just got to put it all the way around. So that way they might not get into there. I'm just going to have to keep catching them or something, and let my dog run out there. Because I don't know what I'm going to do for the outside ones. It's like you're in town, my yard's fenced in, and they still climb the fence. So I don't know. It's like trial and error.
Yeah, I know.
And testing.
I know that that in the past I've had problems with rabbits and groundhogs, and it doesn't seem to matter what you do. The groundhogs just dig under to and do damage from beneath too.
Exactly, but with the raised beds, he's probably going on top because under the raised bed and then go up to the dirt. So I don't know. But yeah, I used to have a timer in my perennial garden because I have so I used to have a timer that came on and off in there, even for lights. My lights would come on in the morning. So it used to look really cool, but I don't have that anymore. I should redo that. But for the vegetables and stuff, I'm thinking timers because of the water. I don't know, my phone's going to go off.
You may be kind of late. I can understand that. Timers are probably a good tool so that, you know, I know that even down here in the grow room, I will overwater my plants sometimes because there might be like a few days, like, you know, this coming week where I'm not going to be able to, you know, I'll give them a bunch of water probably today or Wednesday morning, and then I'm going to be gone until next Sunday because we're going up to visit the in-laws, you know, for Christmas. And the way so I know the time.
So you do have a timer though?
I don't have a timer in here. That's why I do things the way I do. I water a little bit more heavily before I leave. That way I know that my plants are not gonna like perish over the next 4 days or something because I forgot to water them, you know, forever.
Right. And what's your favorite, for you, what's your favorite gardening book that you use?
Well, I don't know about gardening book. I've read a lot of different gardening books. I read magazines like Mother Earth News, and I've read like parts of a Bill Mollison's Permaculture Design Manual. I've read some companion planting books just to kind of get an idea of what to plant with other, you know, around other plants. For instance, I plant chives and garlic around all of my fruit trees just because they interact well together.
Right, and basil is really good with tomatoes. I took classes through the Wise Woman program to where we go down to like people from like Michigan State and stuff, the agriculture people come and they have classes. You get to pick like 4 classes you go to through the day. I've done that like 2 years in a row. And that's pretty cool. I like this one, the Vegetable Garden Bible. This one. I like that one. And I had a few other ones that I, like if I just want to know something, I'll look it up. Sometimes I Google it. But when you're outside in the garden, it's kind of hard to Google it. So usually I'll go outside with my books and read about stuff and stuff in them. I think Cassie had a question on here too.
Yeah, I believe her question was if anybody had any trouble with voles and moles. She seems to be having issues with those.
Okay.
Have you?
Just no, ours are the bigger ones. I really don't have problems with the moles in my yard. I think it's because of cats and dogs. You have animals that usually don't.
Right, I have a dog and I got 3 cats. They are indoor cats, but my dog is always out in the backyard like 5, 6, 7 times a day. So, what I was gonna say was when I'm out in the garden, this is my research tool. You know, sometimes I'll be like, okay, Google.
Yeah, I took mine out and dropped it and broke it. So I broke the screen on this one with one hand, and then I dropped it on the cement. But somebody else was asking about the gardening back to Eden style. I've never done. I don't know what they mean by that. Do you know what they mean by it?
Yeah, I have a back to.
I mean, what's the difference?
Well, in a back to Eden garden, you do not till, so to speak. You layer. I will put down a mixture of leaves or wood chips with a lot of, you know, like when you get them fresh cut, the wood chips, it actually recommends that you have like 90% needles and leaves. So you got a lot of green stuff in with your wood chips. And you put a layer of that down every year. I started off with like a layer like this, you know, probably 12 to 15 inches deep. And that was, you know, about 5 years ago. And most of that has been depleted. I have added from year to year when I could get it. I've added, you know, maybe this much extra each year on my garden. But over winter, it just decays, and you don't have to pull much back to actually plant in dirt. And then you put the wood chips back around it, and they will help do several things. They help conserve water when it rains. The wood chips will hold the moisture in and like do like a time release on your plants. The second thing they do is if you're, I mean, not that you're not going to have, not that you're not going to have weeds, but it will help keep some of the weeds down. And it also makes your soil soft. You know, for instance, have you ever tilled your garden and planted your seeds, and then you know you're waiting for your seeds to sprout, and all of a sudden in the middle of the rows where you hadn't planted anything, all of a sudden you got a bunch of green stuff coming up, and you're trying to differentiate between those and where your rows of stuff are. And pretty soon it's so congested in there that when you're trying to pull all the weeds up and conserve, you know, the garden for your, you know, the plants that you want to grow, uh, the the ground is just hard and compact, and it doesn't want to do anything. You know, you're pulling weeds and getting, like, you're not getting the root or whatever, and it's coming back up, or, you know, stuff like that. When you have the wood.
So the back to Eden style works because it helps. The back to Eden style helps because it helps you not get as many weeds and stuff too then, because you're using new stuff.
Right, right.
Okay.
The weeds that do grow it's easier to pull them out, number one, and
Okay.
and it helps to prevent a lot of weeds from growing, especially if you have, you know, I don't know about Michigan as much, because Michigan, we get a lot of rain. So whatever weed seeds blow into your garden are probably going to grow, but they're going to be easier to pull. But if you live in a...
Right. I notice when I raise beds, it's a lot easier.
What's that?
Right. I said I noticed it's a lot easier to pull the weeds out because it's not compost, you know, it's not as hard as the ground. It hasn't,
Right.
it's like all fresh stuff all the time.
Now,
So,
if
yeah.
you guys want a...
I use a lot of...
If you guys want an in-depth look at back to Eden gardening and what to do, I recommend searching for the Back to Eden film. And also, I recommend a specific channel, L2 Survive. You can use that in raised beds, Gene. All you do is just put wood chips on top of what you have, the wood chips and any other organic material. But the L2 Survive channel, he has a lot of, he actually, when he started his channel, he lived only like about an hour away from Paul Gauchi, which is the featured person in the Back to Eden film. And he went over to this guy's garden and he did, you know, lots of interviews with him. And he has, there's just a ton of material there at the L2 Survive channel. And it's just the capital L, the number 2, and then Survive. And that'll work great. They do, you know, wood chips. Gene, I'm looking at your comments here. Wood chips, as delineated in the movie, like I said, is like 80 to 90% of needles and leaves. And that helps bring all the nutrients and stuff to your garden over the year, because the wood chips take longer to decay and the green stuff takes a shorter time to decay. So you're getting like compost tea every time it rains or every time you water. Now, you see anything there you need to address, Loisann, in the chat?
Nope, I think you got it. Well, I wants to know how she becomes better. If she doesn't have a green thumb, how does she get one? And that's more or less practice, I think. You just keep planting. But with my, I planted all my garlic. I planted 52 bulbs, or whatever they're called, close. And I covered all mine with straw after I planted them. So instead of wood chips or sawdust, I used straw. Probably more expensive, but yeah, for the green thumb thing, I think keep doing it and doing it and doing it. Don't give up. Just keep learning from your mistakes. Yeah.
And don't be afraid to start.
And don't be afraid to plant. Try anything.
My first garden was like I think like 3 tomato plants and 3 pepper plants. That was all I grew. I just, before I knew about Back to Eden gardening, I just tilled up like a 6 foot by 3 foot plot, and that was my garden. And I went out there every night and I watered and weeded and did whatever.
I do plant a lot of herbs too. Like I have the herb Bible too. I've been drying my herbs, and they seem a lot. I like them better than buying them in the store. But I've been doing those in my raised bed too. I've been doing it and never really put a sign, what they are. But now I've been doing that more, so I use them more if I put a little sign up to tell me what I'm actually growing. Because you just want to grow it and it looks really good. But yeah. So I do a lot of herbs and stuff. Huge.
So
on the flower garden.
On the herbs, obviously I know you mentioned earlier basil goes good with tomatoes. I also know that it is recommended as well for grapes. And I've grown it with grapes, and it does well. I got a little bit of companion planting here. I don't know if you can see it. I got garlic and pepper.
Okay.
And they seem to do well together. So do you have a special herb that you like growing more than any other?
I use basil a lot, but it just grows everywhere. But I don't know if I really have a favorite. I have to say basil probably. I don't mind. I grow a lot of because I do a lot of pickling. Yeah. I have lavender, sage. That smells really good. I have all kinds of stuff.
Cool.
So,
I was reading in the comments here.
I have rosemary. Thyme.
Gene says his peppers kept getting ate last year, and he found out the critter was his grandson.
Yeah. Yeah, I finally got over my strawberries because the birds would eat them before. So I had a nut garden too. She has herbs and stuff.
I think that my favorite one, as far as it's more like a plant it and forget it kind of herb, is chives. Or I guess when it comes from the Baker Creek company, they call it the Chinese chives. and I planted one bunch of those, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, and now I got chives all over the place. I'll just, I can pick chives, or I can pull them up like weeds. I've never been able to do that with any other herb.
Yeah, because the chives.
Go ahead.
Yeah, chives come back here too, right? Your chives come back.
Yeah, they do, and then they go to seed. They go to seed every year on top of coming back every year.
So you get a lot of them.
And so yeah, so they end up, they'll flower out, and then they'll drop their seeds, and if you don't catch them and cut off all their seeds, or transplant them, or do something with them, you got a whole bunch all of a sudden.
Right. Which sometimes is a good thing. My daughter always uses the fresh ones to make stuffed peppers. She'll take it and mix it in with the sausage and stuff. She likes chives.
Oh yeah, stuffed peppers. That's good stuff. Well, either Pickerick forgot us and went away from from YouTube for the night or something, but I guess I wanted to ask. You did a video maybe a month ago now. I don't know. Maybe it's not been that long, about your greenhouse, and you were getting it ready for next year and everything. How is that going?
Well, my daughter's over in had that really strong wind, and it took the window right off the top. So he came over and fixed the window in my greenhouse. So I'm mainly going to use that. In the spring, I'll start them early. But my hoop house, it was just so cold, I really didn't even plant this year. So I'm hoping next year I'll get that water system in there, and I'll use my hoop house longer into the winter season. And I didn't get to this year because trying to get out there in the cold and water every day, I don't really want to do that. I have to go out every day and water my rabbits and chickens, but I don't know. I'd rather have a system in there before I start planting later in the fall. I don't care about all summer, spring, and fall planting, but I mean watering out there, but I don't want to do it in the winter. I'd rather have it set up to where it'll work. I don't know if it will because the hose is going to freeze. So I got to figure out something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
How to use it later.
Allie says, do you both can or dehydrate? What do you do with your bounty?
I can. I do a lot of canning. I get a dehydrator and dehydrate some, but mainly right now I can, and then I dry out my herbs and stuff. Do you can?
I don't usually can so much. I don't have a canner. So what I'll do with tomatoes or peppers or stuff like that, I'll freeze it. Now I discovered on my stove this past summer and fall that I had a dehydrator setting, so I could, just set my oven at like 100, anywhere between 100 and 200 or something like that, and actually dehydrate. So I dehydrated a bunch of cayenne.
And that works really well in your oven?
Yeah, that was, in fact, I made a video on it. I got like 2-quart jars full of dehydrated cayenne pepper.
Okay.
So what all do you can?
Wow. Like yesterday I canned cranberry sauce, but I've done all kinds of jam. I did peach, apple, apple butter, applesauce. I did like 4 different kinds of applesauce, like blueberry applesauce, strawberry applesauce, pear applesauce. I did green beans with bacon and onions. I did different. I did stew. I had potatoes and then potatoes and carrots. Oh man, I pickled all kinds of different stuff. I even did bread and butter mixed vegetables, like with cauliflower and onions and carrots. And then I pickled beets, pickles, asparagus, a lot. I did a video on my pantry, and I have a lot. And tomatoes and salsa. I did peach salsa and regular salsa. I did tomato jam, which is really good. I did onion jam.
Well, did you say you did a video on something on
pantry, how it's set up and all my stuff. Yeah, my pantry. There's a lot.
Just on your pantry, not on the actual canning?
Oh yeah, and some of it I do. I have one, I believe, on apple butter, and then I just did one on well, it just shows you the recipe, and the canning part is simple, but you just Google it. But yesterday when I did the cranberry sauce, I did a short little video. But I didn't do every, people.
If you can find it on your phone real quick, why don't you leave them a link in the chat?
I don't know how to do that. I'm new at this. I don't know how to do it.
Okay.
I mean, there might be able to go to my page and do it, but I don't know how to do it. Oh, it looks like Tina's here. Hi, Tina. I'm sure she heard me, but I'll tell her.
All right. Well, go to Loisann's channel and check out the videos on her pantry and the canning videos that she has. Don't forget to do that.
I want to learn how to separate it all, how they do like an area that's all your canning and the area that's all your other stuff. I see it on the side of people's, but I don't know how to do it. I might have to have my grandson or somebody show me.
Yeah,
I don't know how.
Video on what now?
How do you separate your videos? How do you separate your videos on your YouTube page? You have like all your videos in different spots on your page.
Oh, like a playlist?
Yes, I don't know how to do that.
You just check on like when you're loading your video up.
Right.
Do you only load them from your phone, or do you load them on your laptop?
Mainly just my phone.
Okay. I don't know exactly how to do it on your phone, but on your laptop, there's a way to actually create a playlist.
Okay.
It's in where you're downloading your video. You can also go on your laptop and check one video, and up top it says like actions and add to.
Right.
If you click up on the add to, it'll give you a list of your playlists, and if you don't have any, then at the bottom it'll say create playlist, and you just type in like whatever you want, like playlist for gardening 2018 or whatever.
Okay.
I put gardening 2018, and I've already started that with the stuff down here because it's going to carry over into next year and stuff like that. But that way you can separate your videos and give your audience different playlists to check out.
Okay. Let's see any more questions. Allie was asking if I do jellies and jams, but I already answered that. I do a lot. I did
Right.
strawberry and blueberry and pear and peach, all kinds. Let me see. They're talking to each other. Okay, does anybody else have any questions about gardening?
Gene says he needs something on how to make jalapeno jelly. You ever done that?
That's one thing. I don't like hot stuff. No, I don't like hot stuff, so I don't do hot stuff. Like when I did my I did pickled asparagus. My mother-in-law likes it spicy, so with hers, I added the pepper flakes. And what I was going to keep, I did. So I did do it for her, but for the jam, I heard it's good, but I've never made it like that. I've made a lot of jellies and jams are easier, especially because I have the ball jam maker and jelly maker, and it's simple. The only thing I don't like is you only get like 4 jars at a time, but otherwise I really like it. Cat's on the counter.
Well,
yeah.
I don't know, Gene. I could probably give you a little bit of advice on doing something like making them refrigerated or pickled or something like that. But jams and jellies, I don't have any idea about.
Yeah, he can just search it on YouTube, and I'm sure everybody's got the recipes out there for that kind of jam and jelly on there. But that's how I always do it. I always look up my recipes online, and if I don't like exactly, I just kind of change it a little bit to what I like. If it said peppers or something hot, I just don't add it. That's how I do mine.
All right. So I guess my probably my last question here will be, what are you doing for Christmas?
We're probably just going to stay home. We went to his mother's today for Christmas, the Christmas party we had at his mom's today. And so mainly we'll stay home and my kids will drop in and often during the day. It's mainly just me and my husband here. So the grandkids will probably come and go throughout the day. Because they all have families now, so it's not like I have little kids around the house. What are you doing?
Well, we're Wednesday. We're taking off, and we're going up to Grandma and Grandpa's my wife's parents live up in Wellston, which is halfway between Manistee and Cadillac on 55. I don't know if you've ever had like the Dublin jerky.
No.
The Dublin General Store is like right down the road from their house, and I heard of Dublin jerky before I ever met my wife. It was kind of weird, but that's what we're doing. We're going up there for the weekend. I got to come back here because I got to still work next week, and I don't want to work at the end of the week, so I'll be working like during Christmas and stuff like that. And my parents are gonna have they got stuff going on too, so they're gonna have Christmas on New Year's Eve. So we'll be having
there you go.
quite a ways apart for 2 different Christmas parties. And that would bring me to my segue, I guess you might say. I'm not gonna do a video or a live stream next week, but I am planning on having a live stream the day before New Year's Eve. So that Saturday, the 30th, we will be having a live stream. I don't know who it's going to be yet. I'm going to have to invite somebody. So
there you go.
whoever I'm going to be like making contact with a lot of people that I know do gardening. And I want to say thank you so much, Loisann, for being my first guest. I really enjoyed talking to you, and it was fun chatting with you. If anybody in here does not have Loisann Therapy Gardening channel, please go give her a sub, check out her channel, give her lots of views and thumbs up and comments. Do you have anything else to say, Loisann?
I just want to say hi to everybody and thank you for supporting me today. I was nervous. And Tina, tell Leo we said hi. She's still on here. Tina's little boy's name is Leo, and he's always on her videos, and he's so cute and funny. I have videos on jelly and jams, and I think even my asparagus, different things. You just have to go all the way back and look. But yeah, this was fun. I'm getting so I'm not as nervous. But yeah, thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, just consider it a you know, kind of like a chat among friends.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, you were talking about Tina, and I saw that video the other day where she said they made like 500 of those candy canes. Did you see that one? I
usually watch all of them, but I don't remember
the they were little candy canes made of beads, and they're only like about that big.
Oh, okay.
And they did like 5 or 6 hours worth, and it was,
wow.
I could never get my kid to sit still for 5 hours doing that. I was impressed. Well, thank you.
Yeah, she's really.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
With arts and crafts, I love her videos. They're just funny. She is so funny. I don't know if Tessie's still on here, but Tessie's a good one too. She does gardening and canning and all that stuff too. If you ever need another guest, Tessie's would be a good one.
All right. Well, I will certainly consider asking her as well.
Now you're gonna keep the video up when you're done, right? And then I'll share it.
Yeah, I'm gonna put this video up as soon as we're finished here. I'm running low on battery here, so I'm gonna have to take my laptop back up and plug it in. But thanks for watching, everybody. We really appreciate it. Once again, if you don't have Loisann Therapy Gardening, go check it out. And Gene says we can fire Rick. Well, Rick, you know, I know he does like a live stream or maybe 2 almost every day, so he may be all tuckered out too. Thanks for watching. That's our 2 cents for the day. Thanks for watching. God bless, and see you next time.
See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye. I gotta figure out how to get out.